That's the riff that we're about to learn today, and there are so many little techniques and concepts rolled up into this one kind of short riff here. There are a lot of different things that you can take and that you can use and expand on once you nail these techniques down. So we are going to go over this riff. We're going to get started right now. Real quick, my Patreon supporters, you guys have the tabs and of course the backing tracks for this metal riff. This is a killer riff. It's really fun to play. I can't wait for you to learn it. Oh, and hang around till the end of the video. We'll have our usual guitar chat. Let's start out by playing the riff out in the open. This is what we're going to learn. Pretty fun riff to play, and we're going to get right to this. So the first concept here is just the fast movement of power chords. I remember listening to a lot of the thrash metal I grew up with. There's a lot of that going on, and I can't think of any songs right now. You can probably think of several where the power chords are just moving around really, really fast. We're going to be playing the E power chord. We're on the A and D strings here. Only 3 power chords, by the way, but the A and D strings, frets 7, 9. Then of course we're going to play the F power chord and the D power chord. So these 3 right here. And of course in that order there's the F, the E, the D, back to E. So real quick, if this is challenging, because I know it can be challenging if you're not used to playing this style, what I want you to do is just play those power chords one at a time, just like this. And then gradually speed up. Be patient with yourself, guys. Be patient with yourself. Do not allow yourself to get frustrated. And I'm talking to those of you who are new at playing metal guitar right now. I know those of you who are beyond that level, you can do this pretty easy. You're like, Jason, get on with the next part. But this is for you as well, though. Just in general, be patient with yourself as a guitar player and as a musician. And just approach the guitar with ease without allowing yourself to get frustrated. Just go one step at a time, one note at a time, okay? You'll gradually build up the speed, but I just want to throw that out there. The playing of the power chords slowly, I like that, the playing of the power chords. It sounds like this epic novel, you know, the playing of the power chords. Playing them slowly, though, this is going to kind of lodge it into the brain up here, and it's going to just connect. It's going to build that mind to muscle connection or hand connection in this case, which those are muscles too. But it's going to build that connection to where this is where you know to go, okay? This is the next thing we do after the playing of the power chords. So all we're doing here, next technique, next concept here, is we're throwing in some alternate picking for that E power chord there. Then we're playing a really cool sounding power chord by just moving one note around, that second note. I always encourage you to do that whenever you're playing power chords. You know, you've got your root and your 5th note, which for the newbies is basically this note here you start with, you're going to go to the next string and skip a fret. Well, there's your power chord pretty much on most of your strings here, your E, A, and D strings, right? So all we're doing in that case is instead of playing this, what is that, the 9th fret on the D string, we're just going to move that up to the 8th fret on the D string. So here are the differences in the sounds of those chords. Okay, and again, before that, we just add that alternate picking piece, a little bit of palm muting and alternate picking. If this gives you trouble, guys, just revert back to giving yourself the patience. Slow things down a little bit, and if you have to do something like this, I like to break things down into little chunks, bite-sized chunks, okay? Listen, little bite-sized chunks might be a little bit more digestible, right? And it's kind of a bad pun, but hey, there's truth to that. So just break it down, like just play this part. There's one more part to this, and we're about to get to that now. However, real quick, let's go through this one more time. If you have trouble with the alternate picking, watch my right hand. And by the way, this whole thing is kind of gives it that Dokken sounding, you know, like if Dokken were just a little bit more edgier and heavier, this might be what it sounds like. Anyway, so just watch my right hand, okay? Okay, just practice that over and over. Just hang on that one note. Just, you know. And guys, again, if you don't play it exactly like I do, that's okay. This isn't a song. This is just a riff that, actually, I wrote this riff for a specific reason. I'll tell you more about that. You might have caught that reason on my prior video here. But in any case, you know, don't worry so much about if you're not playing exactly like I play it. Add your own flavor to it. I want you to give yourself permission to do that, okay? You might think of something that sounds better to you. You know, go for it. I encourage you to do that. All right, so this last little part here, let me play it through. Now this is pretty simple. We'll break this down by saying that there are only 4 notes involved here, okay? We're on the D string, and let's just call the notes out. Let's call the frets out real quick. So just watch my hands here. We're on 10, 9, 7, and also 6, okay? That alone kind of sounds cool. Sounds a little creepy. But what we're doing here is we're gonna alternate pick those first 2 notes. Then we've got just a little hammer-on pull-off that we do to end on that really dissonant sounding note there. So this is it. So basically we're alternate picking those first 2 notes 4 times, right? The 10th fret, the 9th fret, we alternate pick those 4 times each. Then we're going to go over to the 7th fret. We're going to do a hammer-on pull-off, 7, 9, 7. Then we're going to land on the 6th fret there. Gives you the sound right here. Let's play it all the way through. Guys, it is time for our guitar chat, but real quick, if you do not have my free metal riffs and licks practice guide, do download a copy of that. There's a link in the description of this video. That guide has helped literally thousands of guitar players, so make sure you get a copy of that. If you already have the practice guide, get that first before you go to this next step. But if you have that, I do offer online guitar courses. I've got Metal Guitar Apprentice. If you're new and just kind of starting out or need to revisit the fundamentals of heavy metal guitar, the course called Metal Guitar Apprentice, that's going to be for you. If you're beyond that level and want to just learn some new riffs and some new techniques and play riffs in different keys and that sort of thing, well, I've got over 80 new metal riffs for you to learn in my course called Metal Riff Master. Guys, there are links for all that good stuff for you in the description of this video, so please do check that out. This riff we just learned has a lot of like edginess to it, if you will. When I first wrote it, and I wrote it specifically for something really cool I'm about to tell you about, about that, by the way. And there's actually more to learn from this riff. There's actually an expansion. We're going to talk about that real quick too. But it's got that metal edge, and the first thing that came to mind, just Dokken. Like, this is like a Dokken style riff. But to me, I don't want to say it has more edge, because if you took away some of the elements of Dokken, I don't mean to make this about Dokken, but again, it's just the first thing that came to mind when I wrote it. If you took away, the vocals are great in Dokken. I love Don Dokken's voice, but if you took that away and then maybe the lyrical content and just sat it into this like instrumental only type thing, kind of like Mr. Scary, George Lynch's Mr. Scary, which is phenomenal. That's what this riff sort of reminds me of. Not the actual notes themselves, but just the overall vibe and the style. It just has that edge, and it just kind of brings me back to George Lynch's playing. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, what I want you to do with this riff, I know there's certain parts that you may have trouble with, and some of you may be well beyond that point, and this riff might be easy for you, and that's great. But for those of you, if you're having trouble with this riff, what I encourage you to do is just break it down piece by piece. Just practice the movement of power chords, for example. Get that down before going to the next part. The next part, we had some alternate picking in there. Well, maybe you just hang on that alternate picking, that strategy that we implemented there. What I want you to do, really what I want all of you to do, is start finding ways to make this your own. What if I added some notes here? What if I played this riff in a completely different key? What if you played it in the key of E flat or C sharp, right? What if you started with one of those notes instead? Well, that just gets you more used to doing things in different places throughout the fretboard that you might not be used to, and that can often spawn other really cool ideas in your riff writing. So I encourage you to do that. Maybe take away some notes. Maybe you're like, okay, well, I don't want to play as many notes as Jason did, or maybe I don't want to alternate pick. Maybe I want something a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more melodic in this section right here. Guys, do that. Please do that. You'll come up with something cooler, way cooler, and that you like more than what I just shared with you. That's the point of my lessons, guys. I want you to expand beyond just what I'm showing you here. And I can only hope that my videos like this, that it serves as a guide and as a platform for you to launch other ideas and just branch out and expand. That's really what I want for you guys. You know, when you start coming up with your own riffs, that's when you start really reaching that next level of not just a guitar player, but a musician in general. And that's really what I want for you to strive for. A little note about this riff. So I wrote this riff, and you guys probably caught this in my prior video. I had this little motivational video. I give these kind of just motivational speeches. I call them motivational speeches. They're more of just giving you encouragement and inspiration. Again, that's what I'm all about, guys. That's what my channel's all about, really. But I shared this at the end of that video. It's the last one I just put out before this one. I wrote this for Blackstar. You guys know I got a small endorsement by Blackstar. By the way, what I used in this video here was the Amp 3 by Blackstar. You guys know I've had this for a couple of months now, and I've pretty much been using it exclusively in the studio at least 90% of the time or more. But yes, the Blackstar Amp 3, of course, we're using the metal channel. Now, I'm running this through, because this is a real amp, I'm running it through my EVH 212 cab. So that's what you're hearing out in the open here. Of course, I'm playing the RG, the Ibanez RG 1570 Prestige guitar. I love this guitar. Most of you know the story behind it. One of my closest friends in the world, Tom, you know, that came from him back in probably, I want to say around 2009. And I didn't really care much for the guitar at first. I didn't mean to get into gear here, but here we are. I didn't really care for the guitar at first, but I started just to fall in love with it the more I played it, and now it's the guitar I play most of the time. Anyway, I want to share this clip with you real quick in case you guys missed that. I have one question for you after you watch this clip. So I know some of you saw this in the other videos, only about a minute long, so hey, you can watch it again, but here it is. Here's the entire riff that I wrote for Blackstar. question I have for you guys is this: would you like for me to expand more lessons on this particular riff? In other words, there's a breakdown kind of in the middle after the part that you just learned in this video. It's in the key of A minor, and I do some little choppy stuff. It's power chords followed by some choppy stuff, and of course we've got some guitar solos in there as well. If you guys would like for me to do the next videos, my next lesson videos on the rest of the rhythm and also the leads, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to make that for you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Don't forget to check out the links to all the good stuff I have for you in the description of this video. And until next time, guys, keep it metal.